I'm going to share with you exactly how I dealt with this and how it took me pretty much 2 years to how I changed myself and how I was eventually able to move on from this horrendous of a train wreck of a relationship that I had. If you don't know who I am, that's me, Peter. I'm 27 now, and here's the story of how I lost my best friend. I'm going to try not to cry in this video, but no promises, you know.
That feeling of being so fucking lonely is terrifying.
So, exactly 2, going on 3 years now, I went through a really manipulative, toxic, pretty much a relationship that almost ended me. And during that time, I needed someone the most. And that was when I felt so alone. And I initially made videos when, it just started, it just ended. And I was in all sorts of emotions, but I was trying to put on a front that I was over it and I was, becoming the new me. If anything, there was so much to uncover in that heartbreak, but I was lucky enough to have that pretty much all documented and seeing the different stages that everyone goes through in a breakup.
Like this cannot be real. This cannot be real. Going home crying on my bed, hugging my pillow, and I just remember just bawling my eyes out and just crying.
I met this person through work. And that's when my kind of YouTube channel and aspirations kind of just dwindled. And I was always this person that, I had goals and ambitions. But if you come from a place of insecurity and a place where I wasn't sure of who I am, guess what? You will also bring that same type of energy into your life. And I was fortunate enough to be in a 2-year relationship. And that relationship was very tumultuous because I myself, I like to say that I am a nice guy, but being a nice guy is not a good thing. And I was also a people pleaser because how I grew up is that I was always taught that you had to please people in order for them to be liked. And a lot of that stems from my own upbringing and how I grew up as a kid. But little do you know that since you're a kid, it doesn't translate into relationships really well. If anything, the more you are of a people pleaser, the more likely you are to attract narcissistic people into your life. People who will see that and take you for advantage, take you for granted, take everything, including your soul. What happened to me was my heart literally just shattered in pieces. You know that Simpsons episode where Bart falls in love?
You won't be needing this.
Where this person that I thought was a safe space was never really a safe space in that relationship. I always felt that I had to cater to her. I felt that I had to please her. I felt that when she was upset, it was my job to make that better. It was my fault to change. I was the one that was always wrong. And because of that, none of the blame was on her. To be in a relationship where I was never safe and have that person just get up and leave, it recreated a lot of these abandonment issues that I had for a long time. And what I needed to do was grieve because during the timeline of a breakup, there are certain stages just like that in a death because they took a part of you, lost a part of yourself, and that part of you that you guys had together is gone. So the first stage is denial. You go through this breakup and you're like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. Like it's just one of those breakups. We're gonna get back together. We're gonna message each other, and they don't message back. And then it really hits you that wow, this breakup is actually happening. This relationship that I had with this person that was once originally my quote unquote best friend just disappeared and vanished. And during that time, which I already documented, is that I got really sick. lost my job, and no one was there for me. I wasn't even there for me. And the thing about her relationship and her status was that she went through all those things, but I felt like I was there for her when certain life events happened.
And, you know, I just felt that distance immediately after that breakup.
So after every relationship and there's that stage of it's not really happening, it finally hits you is that, oh my God, it's done. It's over. There is going to be most likely a reaction of anger to move on because that is one of the easiest emotions to feel. So you can suppress it and you can be able to deal with your life. And as a guy, there isn't a lot of emotional support. It's more like, "Hey bro, you'll get over it. It's no big deal." But at that time, that's not what you really need. What you really need is to process that emotion however it is that you need to process.
Give a shit about them, you don't care about them, then you're moving on, you know the relationship has gone to shit or whatever, it's easy. But if you actually care about them and you have feelings for them and you're in a good relationship and you kind of want to get back to them or whatever it is, or you want to work things out, there's a good chance you're going to be like, hey, what are they up to? Who are they seeing? Are they seeing somebody else? Am I wasting my time?
Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it is working on yourself again. I went to the gym every day. I still do, and it helps me immensely with my mental health because, hey, man, if someone can just get up and leave, at least the iron bar ain't gonna get up and leave. I'm the one that has to like move up and down that freaking 45-pound bar. Even though it is really not the best thing to do, but what you need to realize was that I needed to realize was that you need to put yourself out there again, that you yourself had worth. And me, being the toxic person that I know that I am or was or still am, is that what you do instead of letting yourself heal and process that emotion, you repress those emotions and you start going on dates again. You start dating people. You start trying to figure out how can I replace this person that I once had. And because I was such in a low and insecure place, I went on dates even like a couple months ago where it's like, I should have not gone on a date with you. But because likes attract like, and because I didn't see any self-worth in me, I'm going to attract other people that don't see any worth in me. And I had to always chase. I was always the chaser through this. And once you go through a bunch of different relationships and you start dating again, what you realize is wait, that relationship came from a place of scarcity. It's that I am lovable. That just because there's that one person that didn't pick me, there are millions of other people, maybe not millions, maybe a couple thousand, that will choose me. But most importantly, is that one of the most powerful things that a woman can do, a healthy woman, is that they can love you before you even see that worth and love yourself, if it's the right person. But if it's the wrong relationship, it's the complete inverse of that.
Going to the gym, eating healthier or maybe drinking less, partying less or whatever, it's, it could be going back to school, learning a skill. I didn't go back to school till I was like 25.
It was just to fill that void of, I feel so lonely. I feel unloved. I feel like I'm going to take whatever attention that a girl gives me. And because of that, I attracted low value girls. I attracted low value people. It wasn't until I started getting and doing a lot of my own self work, whether that was through therapy, I'll talk about that in a future video, and how I was able to see my own worth slowly. I was able to start attracting better people, better relationships into my life because I started to pretty much rip apart who I was and rebuild my entire foundation again. And I'm still working on that foundation. But that foundation now is slowly being built out of cement. Before, it was just sand, and I collapsed, literally and physically. But now I am slowly starting to build that concrete foundation and learning things that I should have learned a long time ago. So you need to actually accept that grievance and let that part of you die. Knowing that you yourself in that relationship and who you were, chances are you did not like yourself in that relationship. Maybe some things rose up from the past. Maybe things that who you were not still got brought up. And that is a sign that you are healing. That is a sign that that person was not the right person for you. Because at the end of the day, being in a relationship now, me being a 30 by the time I post this video, is what a healthy relationship is someone who it's two people choosing each other. If one person does not choose the other person, it just means that that's not a relationship. That is a one-sided narcissistic thing, or like incompatibility. And as I slowly started to reflect on all of my relationships since I was 12 years old until now, I started realizing a common theme and pattern of the certain people that I would chase. And the fact that the word chase, I was always in this need of scarcity. This came to money and girls as well.
I only dated girls who treated me like absolute shit. And I was like, why is that, right?
I needed to have that self worth where it's like, if someone doesn't choose me, that's okay. That's their loss because at the end of the day, I know how great I am as a human being and what I bring to the table. And I don't need to be compared to anybody else, whether that's based on my physical, whatever that is. And when you start going on online dating, it is just a mess. You compare yourself, there's way too many options. But once you realize that you yourself, if you're dating someone and you are an option to that person, that you should just run. Just run, bro. It'll save you a lot of time and headache. So I know this video is all over the place because emotions are tricky to deal with and process as a guy, especially. And if you have never been in a relationship, it's even tougher to understand that pain and grief it is that you're feeling. And don't let anybody take away that feeling, right? You need to sit with that feeling. Instead of running away, what I did was run away and, try to replace that feeling. You need to cry it out. You need to feel that emotion. Sit with that loneliness. There were days where I would just walk by myself hours, right? Some days I'd run, I'd get a little teary eyed, but I needed to go through the motions. I needed to actually really, really sit with who I was. So once you go through the stages of being in fear and be like, is this really happening, to really angry? Because it's like, how could I let myself be treated like that? How can I deserve so much better. And then you accept the fact that it is what it is and you can't go back in time, but you can figure out what is it that you want in a partner, setting emotional boundaries. What do you expect in a relationship? And most importantly, how you truly move on is that you realize that that person was never meant for you in the first place. That was just a stepping stone so you can figure out who exactly that you are and you can figure out exactly what it is that you want in a partner. Because every rejection, every time something does not go your way, that is the sign from the universe telling you that, hey, wake up, you need to go this way. You're going left too much, go right, buddy. Go right. So it's a lot of realizing your own worth. It's a lot of realizing that, wait, that person, I dodged a bullet, man. It could have been a lot worse. And I came out of this relationship with just a couple scars. But the most saddest part about me that I'm still grieving is that I'm still having a hard time learning to fully open up again after you've been so hurt, right? It's hard to love someone fully because before, when you did that, you got hurt. And because the brain is very pain avoidant and very hedonistic, aka leaning towards pleasure and less of pain, you don't want to love someone that much again because your brain is like, oh no, don't let that ever happen again. But with every relationship, you try your best to come at it with a fresh pair of eyes, but there is always that baggage. There is always be that sense of not good enough. There's sense of like, is this person gonna leave me? Why do I have to prove myself all the time? But once you're able to sit yourself with those questions and question your questioning, you'll slowly begin to heal. And that for me is the process of healing. It's not laying down and meditating. It's not lighting up some fucking candles and being like, I'm gonna journal. It might help you, but healing itself when it comes to relationships and moving on, that exact aspect is being able to mourn who you were and realizing that that part of you died and they took something from you, right? They took a part of you. And now you have to fill that hole yourself. You yourself have to be a different version of yourself. You have to recreate who you want to be again. It is so lonely, but also very liberating.
No way in my dream life, my dream girl is that she leaves me, right? I want someone to choose me, but I need to choose myself first. There's a bunch of these cheesy, like, dating sayings and all that stuff, but it's damn true, yo.
And one of the best things I took away from this relationship is that I got me back, right? I stopped a lot of my careers and dreams because women can destroy your life, right? If you pick the wrong girl, or vice versa, if you pick the wrong guy and you focus all yourself on that relationship, you can literally ruin your life. But if you pick the right person, they can support you and, if anything, exponentially make you a better person. And I was able to get into somewhat healthier relationships, each one after another, because I did a lot of work through everything that I just said. I sat with myself, learned to love myself, learned to not necessarily feel sorry, but know that I can do so much better. Knowing that I forgot how fucking awesome and a gangster pimp person that I know that I can be sometimes. And I just need to bring more of that Peter to the universe. I need to just bring more of that person out there. And slowly I am being more confident in my own words because, I grew up pretty insecure, man. I grew up with not a lot of confidence. But I think a lot of people fake it until they make it type of thing. But life is all about an inside game. It's always an inside game, bro. Always. So for all those people that are going through heartbreaks, I feel you, bro. I feel you, girl. It feels bad, man. And sometimes you just need to sit down and just, chill out. Sometimes you just need to figure out what is actually going on in your head and why are you attracting these type of people into your life. And for me, I realized I was starting to go on the right path is that each relationship that I had after is that they started to be more healthy. I'm like, wow, wait, a girl can treat me like that well? I feel like a king, bro, in comparison to my other relationships, right? And yeah, man, some people are lucky out there. Some people, either settle and they work on the relationship where it's not really good and they're kind of fronting it. And there's some relationships where it's like the first person they date, they're happily married ever after and have a family, but it's not for everyone. And I guess right now that's not meant for me at this time, but I know whenever, wherever, that there is still, and I know that there's a person out there for me, but I need to reaffirm that to myself. I need to reaffirm that and actually sit and believe in it. Because now, have I fully moved on after 2 years? Hell no, man. It takes time. And I don't think you ever fully, quote unquote, move on. You move on in life. You go through dating. You meet other people. You change your life. You advance in your career. But I feel like there are times where it's like, oh, you have a thought. And you're like, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder X, Y, Z. Because if you truly love someone, you don't really ever, forget them, right? So this video is all over the place. It's me rambling. I'm like, maybe I should have a script for the next one. I'm like, I think I can probably downplay this and talk. No, but no, man, talking about your emotions as a guy is really tough because most guys do not know their emotions. And you're like, just do it, bro. Just go to the gym. You move on. No, man. That relationships are a lot of work and time and effort, and you need to really love yourself. You really need to have that patience and knowing your own self-worth, and whether that means being alone for some bit, whether that means, not dating for a while, or maybe it does mean dating and you can figure out who exactly you want or you don't want. That is how you move on in relationships, realizing that that person is not there anymore and they moved on. But knowing the fact that they didn't choose you should be more enough of a conclusion for you, because the reality is you're never gonna get that apology that you deserve. You're never gonna get that closure that you need. You need to give that closure to yourself. And relationships during the cough and all that, it was even one of the most toughest and traumatic things that ever happened to me. And after that, I'm like, the world, bro, come at me, man. You can't hurt me no more. You get fired from your job. I'm like, whatever, bro. I've been in such a low where it's like that, it doesn't even like phase me anymore. And I'm slowly learning to rebuild Peter, slowly relearning how to actually be more confident within myself and sitting with being really self-reliant, but also knowing that I have needs as a person and my needs matter. And in the next video, I'll be talking about looking at how therapy saved my life.